Why do some men attract wealth while others struggle their entire lives? Why does one man's name command respect while another is forgotten? Why do the same men win over and over again? And what are they doing differently, thinking differently that you are not? If you've asked these questions, the answers are here, but you must not drift. This speech will not entertain you. It will rebuild you. Act as if you always come out well, and the world will obey your conviction. Listen with purpose. Your entire future may depend on what you hear next. If you do not see wealth in your mind, you will never hold it in your hand. That is not opinion. It is law. The man who waits to believe until he sees waits forever. Because life does not respond to your needs, it responds to your belief. The world reflects the image you carry within you. If you walk with the identity of a beggar, the world treats you as one. If you think as a king, walk as a king, speak as a king, then riches, power, and opportunity begin to arrange themselves around you like subjects around a throne. You must learn this truth now, for it is the cornerstone of every fortune ever built. Thought is the first fortune. It comes before the money. It comes before the men. It comes before the success. Everything else is the shadow of thought. You must choose today to stop thinking as you have always thought, because everything you now experience is the harvest of former belief. And if your life is filled with scarcity, with delay, with uncertainty, it is because your thoughts have not yet demanded wealth. Let no man deceive you. Poverty is not a badge of honor. It is not the will of God. It is not virtue. It is error in thought, error in belief, and error in action. And all of that can be corrected the moment you begin to think as one who was born to create riches, not receive them, not beg for them, but create them with mind, with work, and with absolute faith. You must act in faith before results appear. The man who waits for the evidence of wealth before adopting the identity of a wealthy man has it backwards. You must first take command of your self-image, then the outer world will follow. Henry Ford did not begin with capital, factories, or even the belief of others. He began with a thought so definite, so persistent, so unshakable that it overrode every fact, every doubt, every resistance. He saw the assembly line in his mind long before it existed in reality. He believed in the mass production of automobiles, while others mocked the idea as madness. But Ford was not moved by the laughter of the small-minded. He was moved by his belief, and the world bowed in time. This is the unseen side of every millionaire you admire. Before the wealth, before the fame, before the structure, they first constructed a mental image that was more real to them than their current situation. They walked in certainty when their pockets were empty. They stood like giants when others saw nothing but lack. And because they believed first, life had no choice but to mirror that belief. Let me tell you what belief is not. Belief is not wishful thinking. It is not waiting. It is not hoping. Belief is mental command. It is the act of seeing what is not yet visible and treating it as reality. It is writing your definite chief aim and speaking it aloud each morning, not because you are trying to convince the world, but because you are convincing your subconscious that this is the new law, that you will have what you seek, not by accident, but by thought. You must now train your mind in advance of possession. Train your words, train your posture, train your inner image. Carry yourself not as a man hoping for riches, but as one who already owns the title to a fortune, because in truth you do. The fortune begins the moment you believe it is yours to build. The details will come, the means will be revealed, the steps will arrange themselves, but only when the decision has been made in your mind. Not whispered, not wished, declared. Every time you repeat your aim aloud with fire in your voice, you are engraving wealth into your identity. Every time you walk with purpose instead of doubt, you are giving instruction to infinite intelligence to supply the plan. And every time you act in alignment with that belief, Regardless of your circumstances, you are bringing substance to your vision. Say this with me now. I see wealth. I speak it. I walk as if I own it. I believe, and therefore I receive. Say it again, but now with the authority of one who has decided, I see wealth. I speak it. I walk as if I own it. I believe, and therefore I receive. This is not poetry. This is law. The man who repeats it daily with feeling, with motion, with full attention, that man becomes wealthy not by luck, but by law. Understand me well. You will never attract riches while thinking like a man who is trying to survive. You must think like a man who commands his life, who is not waiting for permission to prosper. Begin today. Walk differently. Speak differently. Do not allow one word of doubt, delay, or poverty to leave your mouth. Even if your eyes see lack, your words must speak abundance. Even if your hands are empty, your voice must say, I possess the riches of the world. Because thought is the first fortune, and belief is the first possession. Wealth does not visit the man who is undecided. The man who does not know what he wants invites nothing but confusion, delay, and spiritual poverty. Life cannot reward uncertainty. It waits on the definite. The universe does not honor the drifter, the hesitator, the man who says maybe. It honors the man who knows exactly what he wants and who moves toward it without pause. The man who is vague receives vague results. The man who is clear draws the people, the plans, the circumstances, and the capital that match his clarity. You must now understand that vagueness is not harmless. It is the silent thief of wealth. Every time you say, I hope, you have given up command. Every time you say, I'll try, you have invited hesitation. Every time you say, I don't know, you have surrendered your power. You cannot build riches on indecision. And let me be clear, this includes those who have desires but do not define them. A man who says, I want to be rich, but has not declared how much, by when, and by what means is not ready. His words are empty, his plan is invisible, and so his reward is withheld. You must write your definite chief aim, not once, not casually, but as if your future depends on it, because it does. If you are not clear, you will be led by the suggestions of others. If you are not definite, the world will pull you into every direction but forward. And the days will pass, and the years will pass, and you will wonder why others rise while you remain still. The answer is simple. They knew what they wanted. You did not. Let me tell you a story. Edwin C. Barnes was not born wealthy. He had no credentials. He had no special favor. But he had one thing most men never build, a definite chief aim. He did not say, I want to work near Edison. He did not say, I would like to learn from Edison someday. And he said, I will work with Edison. I will go into business with him. And though he had no money to even buy a train ticket, he found his way to Edison's office. He spoke his aim aloud. And though he was rejected at first, he did not drift. He took a menial job and waited for the opportunity to prove himself. That opportunity came. And in time, he became Edison's business partner. Not because of talent, not because of luck, because he was definite. He burned every bridge behind him. He refused every doubt within him. He was clear. And because of that, he was rewarded. Now I say to you, have you declared your aim? Have you written it? Have you organized your hours around it? Or are you still saying, someday? Are you still hoping that things will work out? That is not the way of the millionaire. That is the way of the wanderer. And wealth does not follow wanderers. Your subconscious mind is always listening. It builds what it hears. And when you are vague, it cannot build. It is like an architect handed a blank page and asked to construct a palace. It cannot proceed. But give it a clear blueprint, and it will begin at once. That blueprint is your definite chief aim. And your job now is to write it, speak it, believe it, and move toward it until the world cannot deny you. You must speak it aloud morning and night. not as a ritual, but as a command. Your mind must be soaked in it. Your words must reflect it. Your steps must align with it. Every book you read, every person you meet, every hour you work must be evaluated by one question. Does this serve my aim or distract from it? The clearer your aim, the faster you will rise. The vaguer your aim, the longer you will wander. Let me be painfully clear. Without a definite aim, your hard work will scatter like leaves in the wind. You may be busy, but you will not be productive. You may hustle, but you will not build. Because motion without direction is not progress. It is just exhaustion. And exhaustion is not wealth. Definiteness magnetizes opportunity. It makes you alert. It makes you alive. It causes you to notice the conversation others ignore, to grasp the insight others forget, to seize the chance others delay on. When you are clear, you become dangerous, because most men are not, and the clear man cuts through the fog of indecision like a sword through air. So here is your drill. Write your definite chief aim today. Speak it aloud with full voice. Memorize it, repeat it every morning and every night, and shape your daily schedule to serve it without compromise. Do not make room for the unnecessary. Do not entertain distractions. Do not listen to those who laugh. Their opinions are not your concern. Your concern is to build. And you cannot build what you have not first declared. The men who possessed great fortunes did not wait until the path was easy. They walked into the fire with purpose, and purpose is stronger than fear. Purpose is louder than failure. Purpose is the anchor that holds you steady in the storm. When the critics come, purpose speaks. When doubt rises, purpose commands. And when the world resists, purpose persists. Say this now. I am clear. I know what I want. I walk in the direction of riches daily. Again, I am clear. I know what I want. I walk in the direction of riches daily. Let no other voice be louder than your aim. Let no obstacle outlast your vision. If you stay definite, the riches must come, not by luck, not by miracle, by law. No man becomes wealthy while calling himself poor. No man commands opportunity while seeing himself as a victim. The world does not pay you for time. It pays you for identity. Who you are determines what you are paid. And the man who carries himself as a servant of fate, as a passive receiver of life's scraps, will never attract more than enough to survive. But the man who declares himself a builder of wealth, a master of thought, an agent of riches, that man sets forces in motion far beyond what the average mind can perceive. The world reflects your identity, not your circumstances. You must now become in spirit who you intend to be, in fact. Identity precedes outcome. This is law, and it is one of the most neglected secrets in the mind of the average man. You do not build riches and then become wealthy in identity. You become wealthy in identity, and the riches follow. You must walk, speak, think, and carry yourself as if the fortune were already yours, because the subconscious cannot distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is real. The subconscious obeys belief, and belief is constructed by repetition, posture, language, and action. If you carry yourself like a rich man in thought, the world will eventually align to prove you correct. But most men do not do this. Most men wait for external proof before changing their internal picture, and so they remain as they are. They say, once I have the money, I will walk differently. I will speak with more certainty. I will expect more. But they have it backward. They have fallen for the illusion of timing. The world does not reward men who wait to become. It rewards those who act as if it is already so, and who make no apology for that. Let me show you the difference between the two. The average man enters a room with hesitation. His shoulders slouch. His tone is uncertain. His thoughts are scattered. He speaks in the language of doubt. He waits for permission. He watches others for approval. He asks, "Can I?" while another man is already acting. and then he blames life for why nothing changes. But the wealthy man enters with intention. His posture is upright. His voice is calm but firm. His questions are sharp. His presence commands respect, not because of wealth, but because of identity. He believes in who he is, and therefore others do too. You must become this man before you possess what he has. You must rehearse his movements, his clarity, his tone, until the identity becomes your own. Do you understand? This is not performance. This is alignment. You are not pretending, you are practicing. And what you practice daily, you become automatically. The mind does not argue with repetition. It accepts it, and it builds according to it. You must now craft a new identity, not someday, not after results, but now. Here is your exercise. Write your new self-description. Be precise. Be bold. Do not write who you are today. Write who you are becoming. And then speak it aloud as law. Say, I am a builder of wealth. I am a master of focus. I am a leader of men. I am an agent of riches. I am the man who commands his world. Repeat it morning and night. Repeat it before meetings, before your work, before every decision. And carry yourself in perfect harmony with those words. This includes your posture. Stand as though wealth already walks beside you. Do not collapse your body. Straighten it. Do not shrink your frame. Expand it. Your physiology instructs your psychology. The way you hold your body teaches the subconscious what to believe. If you carry yourself like a servant, you will think like one. But if you carry yourself like a man of purpose, your thoughts will rise to match. This includes your tone. Speak with finality. Speak with clarity. Do not use weak words. Eliminate I think, I'm not sure, maybe, hopefully. Replace them with I will. This is, that is not acceptable. Let's proceed. Speak as one who decides, not as one who begs. Your tone becomes your tool, and it must be sharpened. This includes your vocabulary. The words you use become the thoughts you live by. The poor man uses words of delay, scarcity, and hesitation. He speaks of survival, difficulty, and hope. The rich man uses words of design, efficiency, command, and results. Do not speak in reaction. Speak with direction. Build your mind by the words you repeat. This includes your presence. You must be aware of the atmosphere you create. When you enter a room, do others feel clarity or confusion, order or disorder, leadership or passivity? Identity creates impact, and impact opens doors. Practice presence until it becomes your natural state. Let me give you the example of Andrew Carnegie. Before he built an empire of steel, he built an empire in his mind. He trained himself to think in terms of industry, scale, and global vision. He studied the habits of wealth. He walked with the identity of a man already trusted with fortunes. Even when young, even when untested, he did not carry himself as a boy. He carried himself as a man of steel long before he owned 1 ounce of it, and so the steel came, because identity magnetizes the means. Let me say this again with emphasis. Carnegie thought like a tycoon while the world still saw him as a clerk, but he obeyed his own vision more than the opinions of others, and the world eventually surrendered. So must you. Say this now. I am a man of wealth. I speak with certainty. I decide with power. I do not wait. I command. Again, I am a man of wealth. I speak with certainty. I decide with power. I do not wait. I command. Do not wait for the world to agree. Act as if you already possess the throne, because you do, not in paper, but in posture, not in coin, but in command. You are not paid for your hours. You are paid for who you are while you give them. Build that man, speak that name, and walk in that power now. The man who hesitates is already defeated. Opportunity does not linger. Wealth does not wait. Success does not consult your feelings before it moves forward. If you are not willing to act before you feel ready, you will never act at all, because readiness is not a feeling. Readiness is decision, and decision is action. The man who thinks like a millionaire does not indulge in endless planning. He decides, he acts, he builds momentum, and when resistance comes, he does not flinch. He presses harder. This is the law of wealth: speed of decision, firmness of will, and quickness of action. Understand this: the longer you delay, the more fear grows. Delay feeds doubt. It gives space for fear to whisper its poison. But action silences fear. Movement destroys hesitation. Once you move, the mind falls into obedience. But when you wait, the mind begins to waver. And every day you wait, you teach yourself weakness. Every hesitation becomes a lesson in defeat. And so men who do not move slowly begin to believe they cannot. Not because it is true, but because they have trained their identity to surrender. Let me speak plainly. If you wait to feel confident, you are not a man of decision. If you wait until the plan is perfect, you are not ready for riches. If you wait for someone else to approve your idea, you are still a child in your thinking. The men who rise do not wait. They move and adjust along the way. They understand that boldness is more valuable than certainty and action more profitable than anxiety. Let me give you a story. Charles M. Schwab was not handed power. He seized it. He rose to become president of the Carnegie Steel Company, not because he asked for permission, but because he moved where others paused. Schwab had the rare gift of initiative. When faced with uncertainty, he decided. When surrounded by hesitation, he acted. And his ability to move boldly elevated him into wealth, leadership, and historical legacy. One day, Carnegie posed a challenge: increase production, increase efficiency, and do it without delay. While others hesitated, Schwab began. He did not have all the answers. He did not know every detail, but he knew the law of boldness. And because he acted swiftly and decisively, the systems were improved, the output increased, and the fortune multiplied. The man who moves becomes the man who leads. This principle is not for steel alone. It applies to your life in every direction. You must now train yourself in the discipline of decisive action. Every morning must begin with one bold move towards your definite chief aim. Do not start the day in hesitation. Do not begin with idle thought. Begin with action. This is how you reprogram your identity. This is how you teach the subconscious that you are not a spectator, but a commander. Your bold move may be small: a phone call, a written plan, a conversation you have been avoiding, a step you've been postponing. No matter how small, move and do not stop, because action compounds. Each movement builds momentum. And the man who moves daily, no matter how imperfectly, outpaces the man who waits to be perfect. Here is the danger. The man who waits to feel ready will be passed by 10 others who were not ready, but who moved anyway. The world belongs to the bold, not the brilliant. Boldness commands attention. Boldness creates opportunity. Boldness gives birth to clarity. Most men believe they must feel certain before they act, but certainty is the reward of movement, not the prerequisite for it. You must earn clarity by obeying decision. Let me offer you a command. From this moment on, do not waver. Do not say, "I'll think about it." Say, "I will decide now." And once decided, do not revisit the decision unless absolute necessity demands it. The man who decides, then questions himself, becomes his own traitor. Be firm. Be loyal to your decisions. You can adjust your methods, but never your aim. Decide quickly and stick to it. Let the world know that your word is not a maybe. Your decision is not a trial. It is law. I say again, every fortune has been built by men who decided and refused to waver. They were often mocked. They were misunderstood. But they remained loyal to their decision, and the world in time surrendered to their conviction. Let no man confuse you. Indecision is not caution. It is cowardice disguised as caution. Do not worship analysis. Do not kneel before hesitation. Stand upright in your own command. Say, "This is my aim. This is my step, and I will not delay." Say it with me now. I act now. I do not hesitate. I am moved by decision, not emotion. Again. I act now. I do not hesitate. I am moved by decision, not emotion. You must speak this until your body obeys it, until your feet move before your fear speaks, until your hands build before your doubts finish their sentence, until your presence announces a man who moves and does not wait. You must become the kind of man who, once decided, cannot be shaken. Not by others, not by delay, not by fear. This is the man the universe rewards. He may be wrong sometimes, but because he moves, he corrects and advances. The man who waits may be right in theory, but because he does not act, he never receives. Action is the proof of belief, and belief is the foundation of wealth. From now on, every day must begin with one bold step toward your aim, and when that voice of doubt appears, and it will, do not listen. Act instead. Speak your aim aloud, then take one more step, and then another. That is how empires are built, not all at once, but by daily defiance of hesitation. Decision is your crown. Action is your scepter, and boldness is your inheritance. Take it. The most important voice in your world is your own. It is not the opinion of your peers. It is not the voice of critics. It is not the echo of those who have doubted you in the past. It is your own voice, your own words, spoken with belief or hesitation, with power or with fear. The subconscious mind is the master worker of your destiny, and it is always listening. It takes orders not from wishes, not from dreams, but from repetition. And what you repeat most often, especially aloud, becomes the blueprint of your results. Let no man be mistaken about this. You cannot speak defeat and expect victory. You cannot speak lack and attract abundance. You cannot declare yourself tired, uncertain, hopeless, and then expect to rise. Life moves according to inner order, and inner order begins with spoken thought. Words are seeds. Every sentence you speak takes root in your subconscious and grows into action, into identity, and ultimately into outcome. This is why the speech of the common man is filled with poverty, because he speaks what he fears. He speaks what he sees. He speaks what others say. He rehearses lack, disappointment, and confusion. And because he speaks it, he believes it, and because he believes it, he lives it. He does not realize that he is the author of his own downfall. His inner voice is untrained. His tongue betrays him daily, and so his life follows the law of disorder. But you must be different. From this day forward, you will obey a new law. No negative speech shall pass your lips before noon. Your mornings must be clean. No complaint, no sarcasm, no self-pity, only power. The first hours of your day build your tone, and the tone of your day builds the direction of your week, your month, your year. You must rise with command in your chest and conviction on your tongue. If you feel doubt, speak faith. If you feel tired, speak energy. If you feel fear, speak decision. Your feelings are followers. They obey your voice. And when your voice is trained, your world becomes ordered. Let us speak now of Thomas Edison, a man who failed over 10,000 times in the pursuit of the electric light. But never once did he refer to his failures as final. He called them steps toward success. He never fed his mind with defeat. He instructed it to see each setback as a teacher. He trained his inner voice to speak in terms of progress, learning, and ultimate triumph. And so he could not be stopped, because he refused to instruct his subconscious in the language of quitting. And the man who never speaks of quitting cannot fail. Now here is your drill. Replace complaint with command. Replace doubt with declaration. The next time you catch yourself speaking of what you cannot do, stop and say instead, I was born to lead. I do not doubt. I dominate. These are not mere words. They are incantations. And each time you repeat them with feeling, you instruct the deeper part of you, the builder within, to obey. You must understand, your subconscious is not philosophical. It is mechanical. It is loyal. It does not argue. It accepts. And if you feed it the language of power, it will begin to build systems of belief that are impenetrable. You will no longer be shaken by opinion. You will no longer be swayed by failure. You will become the kind of man wealth obeys, because you have commanded inner order. Let me give you another law. Never speak a limitation aloud unless it is for the purpose of destroying it. The man who says, "I'm not good with money," has written a law into his world. The man who says, "I always get passed over," has declared his defeat. The man who says, "It never works out for me," has made a covenant with failure. Do not be this man. From now on, every word you speak must be filtered. Ask yourself, does this build my aim or betray it? Does this support my wealth or sabotage it? Does this reflect my future or repeat my past? If your answer is not power, do not speak it. Your goal now is to build an inner voice that aligns with your aim. That means when you rise, you speak your definite chief aim aloud, not weakly, not passively, but with full conviction. Your voice must be filled with authority. You must speak as though your future were already sealed, because in truth, it is, if you build it from within. This is the discipline of the millionaire. He does not let idle words pass through his lips. He speaks with intention. He speaks with accuracy. He speaks with power, not because he is arrogant, but because he is trained. And this training is yours to adopt today. Say this with me now. My words are law. My voice builds wealth. I speak power, and power follows. Again, my words are law. My voice builds wealth. I speak power, and power follows. You must feel it in your bones. You must believe that every syllable you utter has weight, because it does. Words are the architects of your inner world, and your inner world governs your outer results. Let your vocabulary reflect your vision. Let your tone reflect your certainty. Let your daily speech become the echo of who you are becoming, and you will find that wealth, opportunity, and confidence begin to gravitate toward you, not by chance, but by the law of inner alignment. You are the voice of your future. Speak accordingly. A seed planted in barren soil cannot thrive. It will not grow stronger by force of will alone. It needs the right ground, the right light, the right atmosphere. So it is with you. The thoughts you think are your seed, but your environment is the soil. And if that soil is toxic, filled with complaint, distraction, fear, and doubt, then your highest ideas will suffocate before they ever rise. You cannot think like a king while dining with beggars of belief. You cannot build an empire in the dust of low conversation, idle hours, and scattered minds. Your atmosphere is either your prison or your preparation. Choose wisely. Let me now teach you the principle of the mastermind. This is not merely association. It is not friendship for comfort. It is an alliance of minds united in purpose, belief, and execution. The mastermind is a spiritual and intellectual partnership that multiplies thought and accelerates results. When two or more minds unite in harmony around a definite aim, a third, invisible force is created. That force is intelligence beyond any single mind. That force is what builds fortunes. That force is what changes history. If your environment lacks this harmony, you are not neutral. You are regressing. The crowd that complains, that delays, that mocks clarity, that speaks of fear, is not harmless. They are termites in your foundation. You will begin to think like them, not because you agree, but because exposure becomes belief. What you hear often, you begin to entertain. What you entertain, you begin to consider. What you consider, you eventually obey. So guard your atmosphere as fiercely as a king guards his gates. You may ask, but how do I begin? Begin with yourself. Clean your room. Organize your time. Withdraw from gossip. These are not casual actions. They are spiritual war. The man who organizes his space begins to organize his thoughts. The man who controls his time begins to control his identity. The man who refuses gossip refuses mental poverty. You must become the architect of your own environment before you ever control the environment of others. And as you clean your physical world, begin to separate yourself from the spiritually idle. The man who jokes about riches, who belittles your ambition, who ridicules your routine, who does not read, build, or aim higher, withdraw from him. He may be well-meaning, he may be familiar, but you are no longer in agreement. You are no longer on the same road, and the road to wealth is narrow. It demands separation. This is not cruelty, it is clarity. Now consider John D. Rockefeller, a man who built not just a company, but a climate. He built silence into his day. He demanded order from his men. He did not fill his office with noise, but with strategy. He structured his time. He structured his relationships. And because he cultivated peace, clarity, and decisiveness in his environment, his decisions carried weight. He built systems that obeyed him because his atmosphere reflected his inner world. That is the mark of a man prepared for fortune. You must now begin to design an atmosphere that aligns with who you are becoming. If you are building a millionaire life, you must live in millionaire order. No clutter, no chaos, no wasted hours. Your home must reflect discipline. Your calendar must reflect decision. Your speech must reflect clarity. You are not waiting for riches to treat yourself with value. You begin now, because the man who respects himself in private becomes the man who is trusted in public. Let us now discuss the mastermind further. You must seek alliances, not with many, but with the few who are also walking the upward path. Men and women who do not flinch at responsibility, who do not collapse at difficulty, who speak clearly, act quickly, and live with precision. Meet regularly, declare your aims, hold one another accountable, multiply thought, sharpen ideas, pray together, think aloud, and from that harmony you will see a force arise that was never present in you alone. You may say, but I am alone. Then good, begin. Every mastermind begins with one man in silence, preparing. Begin the ritual, begin the discipline. Speak aloud your aim, sit in silence, read, write, building. And soon the right minds will be drawn to you, not by accident, but by magnetic law. The man who organizes his life becomes a beacon, and the untrained will mock you, but the trained will find you. Do not make the mistake of confusing familiarity with alignment. You may be surrounded by people who know you, but do they build you? You may share blood, but do you share belief? You may laugh with them, but do you build with them? Be honest, you do not need many, you need aligned. One mind in harmony is worth more than 50 in doubt. Say this with me now. My surroundings reflect my value. I allow only what uplifts, sharpens, and multiplies. Again, my surroundings reflect my value. I allow only what uplifts, sharpens, and multiplies. This is not arrogance. This is authority. The man who allows disorder in his environment is not yet prepared for dominion. The man who tolerates chaos in his home will never command peace in his wealth. Clean your space. Order your words. Choose your companions. And riches will follow, not because of mysticism, but because of mental integrity. Your environment is always training you. So now I ask, what is your space training you to become? What are your companions training you to believe? What is your schedule training you to execute? If the answers do not reflect your aim, change them. Now, without delay, because the man who waits to shift his environment will wait forever to shift his results. The atmosphere must match the aim, and you are the builder. The man who is ruled by emotion will never be trusted with fortune. The man who obeys every impulse will never construct a legacy. But the man who masters his energy, who learns to convert desire into decision, emotion into execution, and temptation into discipline, that man becomes unstoppable. Millionaires are not cold men. They are passionate. But they do not waste that passion. They direct it. They do not repress emotion. They refine it. They transmute it. You must now understand this. Every emotion is energy, and energy is power. But power, when uncontrolled, becomes destruction. The same fire that forges steel can burn a house to the ground. The same desire that builds can also destroy. The difference lies in direction. The poor man wastes his energy chasing pleasure. The rich man channels his energy building his purpose. One lives by indulgence, the other by intention. Now let me speak to you plainly about sexual transmutation, one of the most misunderstood principles in all my work. Sexual energy is the most potent force known to man. It drives action. It fuels ambition. It gives color to the imagination, force to the will, fire to the mind. But when it is used improperly, when it is wasted in idle indulgence, fantasy, or undisciplined pleasure, it weakens the mind and dulls the spirit. Yet when it is transmuted, redirected toward building, creating, inventing, producing, it becomes a miracle-working power. It becomes the fuel behind great books, great businesses, great inventions, and great fortunes. I tell you this without hesitation. No man has achieved lasting greatness who has not first mastered this part of himself. The man who is ruled by lust will find his focus divided, his energy diminished, and his willpower corroded. But the man who sees that desire as fuel and redirects it into his work will possess an energy that others cannot understand. He will work longer, think sharper, move faster, and persist harder, not because he is lucky, but because he has retained and redirected the fire within. Look at Leonardo da Vinci, a man of relentless discipline, a mind unmatched in clarity and curiosity. His life was not one of distraction, but of creation. His notebooks are filled with inventions far ahead of their time. His art, his science, his mastery, all born from his ability to concentrate his emotional energy into productive genius. He was no servant to appetite. He was a master of it. And because of that, he created works that live centuries beyond his life. This must now be your discipline. When the impulse arises, pause. Do not obey it blindly. Do not act from it foolishly. You are not an animal. You are a man. And a man commands his fire. A man harnesses his emotions. A man rises above impulse and builds from it. When desire comes knocking, you must go to work. Building right, plan, move, speak your definite chief aim aloud. Let your hands move while your emotions burn, and you will begin to feel a shift, an elevation of identity. You will begin to see that temptation was never your enemy. It was your training. Every emotion you feel is a signpost pointing to energy that can be directed. If you feel anger, use it to refine your aim. If you feel loneliness, use it to deepen your discipline. If you feel desire, use it to expand your vision. The average man obeys every signal without question, but the millionaire listens with discipline. He understands that his future is being shaped in the moments where others give in. He knows that when most fall, he must rise. And here is the truth most will never speak. The man who conquers his desire becomes magnetic. He does not chase, he attracts. His energy is clean. His presence is powerful. His focus is sharp. He does not waste himself, and because of that, he multiplies. The world cannot ignore a man who walks with that kind of internal fire. Women feel it. Men respect it. Opportunities bend toward it, not because of arrogance, but because of authority. The quiet, unmoved confidence of a man who is in command of himself. Say this now. I do not waste energy. I convert it into power. I build with fire. I lead with discipline. Again, I do not waste energy. I convert it into power. I build with fire. I lead with discipline. You must say it until you believe it. You must repeat it until your body obeys it. You must walk with it until the world confirms it. Every man must pass through this furnace, the furnace of mastery over self. There is no other way to greatness. Do not fear your emotion. Do not hide from it, but never again be ruled by it. Let it rise and redirect it. Let it move and master it. Let it burn and build with it. Because if you can conquer yourself, you will never be conquered again. Your future is being shaped right now, in this moment. Not in public, not with fanfare, but in silence, in privacy, in discipline. The decisions you make in these quiet moments, the decision to master yourself, to rise above, to transmute instead of indulge, these are the decisions that build legacies. You do not become great in the spotlight. You become great when you do what others will not, when no one is watching. And so I ask, what will you do with your fire? You are the forge. Now build the man. If a man lacks faith, all his talent, all his planning, and all his preparation will collapse at the first sign of opposition. Faith is the fire of the builder. It is not mere optimism. It is not empty hope. It is a state of mind forged through repetition, emotion, and decision. Faith is the invisible substance by which fortunes are constructed. It is the iron spine of the great man. It does not appear when things go well. It is demanded most when the facts oppose you, when the money has not come, when the evidence says no, and the world says impossible. Understand this. Faith is not a feeling. It is a decision, backed by daily repetition and daily action. The average man waits to feel confident. He waits until all doors are open, until all signs are green. But the successful man walks by faith before there is a road. He declares it done when no one believes. He builds when others mock. He persists when others quit, because he has trained his mind to believe, not by chance, but by law. The law of autosuggestion is your weapon. The law of repetition is your tool. You do not beg for faith. You build it. Speak your aim aloud with conviction, twice daily. Speak it until your voice no longer shakes. Speak it until your body aligns with your words. Speak it until your subconscious accepts it as law. That spoken aim with belief behind it becomes your daily prayer. And in that prayer lies your power. Let us remember Henry Ford, a man whose mind was richer than any balance sheet. When the experts mocked his dream of a gasoline engine for the masses, he did not retreat. When the engineers told him it could not be done, he said, "Build it anyway." When the money was short and the pressure high, he held fast to one thing, his belief. That belief created an industry. That belief created an empire. That belief made him a master of steel and machinery, not because he waited for certainty, but because he commanded it into being. You must now do the same. Each morning stand and speak your aim. Do not whisper it. Do not recite it weakly. Speak it with fire in your voice and belief in your belly. Speak it even when you feel doubt creeping in. Speak it when you feel fear tightening its grip. Speak it when the world seems silent, because this repetition is your warfare, and every word is a strike against indecision, against fear, against defeat. You cannot afford to be neutral. The mind that is not trained in belief will drift toward fear. That is its nature. The subconscious is a receiver. It obeys the loudest voice. If that voice is fear, failure grows. If that voice is faith, fortune follows. And you are the voice it hears most often. You must become the architect of your internal world. Speak what you seek until it is built. Let us now solidify that foundation with 5 spoken affirmations. Say them aloud. Write them. Repeat them daily. These are not just phrases. They are declarations of identity. 1. I'm the type of person who speaks wealth until it shows up. You must become the man who does not describe his reality. He creates it. Your tongue must serve your vision. Your words must align with your aim. When others speak of lack, you speak of riches. When others echo fear, you declare destiny. 2. I'm the type of person who walks in belief when the world walks in doubt. You cannot afford to blend in. The crowd waits. The builder walks. You are not here to agree with fear. You are here to defy it. You are not here to echo statistics. You are here to write new ones. 3. I'm the type of person who repeats my aim until my soul obeys it. Your goal is not to speak once. Your goal is to engrave it into your mind. You are training yourself. You are burning a path. You are forging belief through fire and rhythm, and belief, once forged, becomes unshakable. 4. I'm the type of person who acts on faith, not feeling. You do not wait to feel like a builder. You build. You do not wait to feel wealthy. You act as if. You move now. You trust that belief grows through obedience. Action is proof of faith. Every move is a hammer to the wall of fear. 5. I'm the type of person who cannot be denied because I will not be stopped. This is the final claim. The claim of the conqueror, the declaration of the destined. You are not asking for success. You are not hoping for it. You are declaring it. You are walking in it. You are becoming the kind of man riches obey because you live by belief, not emotion. Say them again. Speak them aloud. Repeat them until your bones resonate with power. I'm the type of person who speaks wealth until it shows up. I'm the type of person who walks in belief when the world walks in doubt. I'm the type of person who repeats my aim until my soul obeys it. I'm the type of person who acts on faith, not feeling. I'm the type of person who cannot be denied because I will not be stopped. These are not suggestions. These are your new instructions. They are your code. They are your shield. They are your sword. And every day you live by them, you are writing a new identity. You are proving your belief through repetition, through emotion, and through action. Do not think faith is for the religious alone. Faith is for the builder. It is for the leader. It is for the man who rises. It is for the one who dares to speak of riches before riches come. It is for the one who dares to command victory before the battle has begun. That is who you are becoming. So when resistance comes, and it will, you do not flinch. You do not ask for pity. You do not speak of retreat. You declare your aim with greater fire. You double your repetition. You act again. Because faith is not a feeling that fades. It is a flame you stoke. Repeat this final affirmation before you move forward. I believe. I act. I persist. I rise. I am becoming the man who cannot be denied. Let us now move from knowledge to command, from theory to action, from wandering to decision, because no man will rise until he defines what he is rising for. And that means you must now do what 98 out of every 100 men never do in their entire lifetime. You must write your definite chief aim. Do not take this lightly. Do not treat this as a suggestion. This is not a task. It is a spiritual law. It is the starting point of all wealth, all power, and all lasting success. Every fortune begins in a mind with direction. Every great builder you admire began by choosing one mountain and climbing it without apology, without permission, and without delay. Here is how to begin. You will write one single sentence. A sentence so clear, so specific, so bold that it cannot be misunderstood by your subconscious, by your habits, or by the forces that obey belief. It must name exactly what you want. Not a vague hope, not a loose idea, but a definite aim. This aim must include 3 things. 1, what you want. 2, when you will have it. 3, what you are willing to give in return. Let me say that again so you write it down clearly. What you want, when you will have it, and what you are willing to give in return. For example, I will earn $500,000 in personal income through my business by December 31st of this year by rendering high-quality, consistent, and creative service that multiplies the value of every client I serve. That is a definite chief aim. It is not vague. It is not poetic. It is not emotional fluff. It is law. And because it is law, it gives instruction to your mind, to your actions, and to infinite intelligence itself. Now, once this sentence is written, it must not be hidden. It must not be left in a drawer. It must not be locked in a journal that never sees the light of day. No, this statement must be placed in your atmosphere. Put it on your door, put it on your bathroom mirror, put it on a note card, a flash card, and place it in your wallet or pocket. Put it beside your bed. Wherever you go, your chief aim must follow, because the mind cannot follow what it does not frequently see. The subconscious cannot obey what it does not frequently hear, and your life cannot rise if your thoughts remain vague. You will now begin the morning ritual that makes millionaires. Each morning as you rise, you will speak your definite chief aim aloud. You will speak it with belief. You will speak it with fire. You will speak it as if it is already done. And each night before you drift to sleep, you will speak it again. You will speak it when you feel strong. You will speak it when you feel doubt. You will speak it when no one claps. You will speak it until your voice becomes identity, and your identity becomes results. You cannot overdo this. Let no one convince you otherwise. Repetition is the master of belief, and belief is the master key to all achievement. Let me give you a few more examples spoken clearly to guide your own. I will build a business that earns $1 million per year by the end of this decade by offering daily value to my clients, leading my team with integrity, and solving problems others fear. I will become a sought-after speaker by December 2026, delivering 40 paid talks per year by mastering my message, promoting my work daily, and improving every performance. I will reach my ideal health and body by June 1st through daily disciplined eating, intense physical training, and complete commitment to honoring my body as a temple of power. Each of these is specific. Each has a deadline. Each names the sacrifice. That is what transforms a dream into a command. If you struggle to find your aim, you must not delay. Take a walk, take a seat, take an hour of silence, write your thoughts, listen to yourself, ask, what do I truly want? What am I willing to do to earn it? How soon will I decide it is mine? And once it is written, there can be no turning back. You will read it aloud morning and night. You will obey it with your schedule. You will surround yourself with only what supports it. And the day will come, not by chance, but by law, when the world aligns with what you wrote. Now speak this aloud with me. I have written my aim. I see it. I speak it. I believe it. I will not stop until I have it. Again. I have written my aim. I see it. I speak it. I believe it. I will not stop until I have it. This is not just an exercise. This is your life's foundation. And from this foundation, you will build anything. Let us now speak plainly, without excuse, without delay. If you want wealth, if you truly want it, not as a fantasy, not as a passing hope, but as a fact, as a law, as your rightful possession, then you must understand this truth. Wealth is a demand, not a wish. It does not come to the man who wishes for it. It does not obey the one who hopes, who waits, who dreams without duty. It moves toward the one who commands it, who obeys its laws, who aligns his habits with its structure, who treats prosperity not as an accident, but as an outcome. You have now been given the full structure. A man is no longer lost once he is shown the path. A man is no longer weak once he understands the nature of power. And you now know you must think with clarity. You must walk in purpose. You must act with speed. You must master your mind, control your emotion, persist through defeat, speak your new identity aloud, associate upward, and repeat the truth until it becomes your world. That is the formula, not my opinion. Law. Wealth is not an emotion. It is not found in excitement or in wishful moments or in fleeting bursts of ambition. It is found in structure. It is born in belief. It is fed by discipline. It is moved by decision. It is built through action, and it is preserved by law. Now let us return to the most powerful law of all, autosuggestion. You must never assume you have heard this enough. You must never believe you are done with this process. Autosuggestion is not a phase. It is not a practice for beginners. It is the lifeblood of the wealthy mind. It is the gatekeeper of belief. It is the tool that rewrites your subconscious, reorders your behavior, and reshapes your destiny. And it requires only one thing: repetition. If you listen to this message once and walk away, you will forget. If you speak your chief aim one day and then fall silent, your subconscious will revert. If you let the world shout louder than your own inner voice, then you will not live by your plan. You will live by their programming. But if you speak this every day, if you listen again and again, if you read your aim aloud morning and night, if you act in line with that aim, if you associate only with what builds it, then there is no force in this world, visible or invisible, that can deny you the life you have chosen. Understand that clearly. You have already begun the process of transformation. The moment you wrote your aim, the moment you declared your identity, the moment you spoke power over yourself, you began a process that, if continued, must result in wealth. Not maybe, not hopefully, must. Because that is how law operates. The universe is not confused. It is not emotional. It is not random. It responds to definiteness, repetition, belief, and obedience. And the man who aligns his thought, his action, and his environment with wealth must become wealthy. Time is the only delay. And even time submits to the one who walks without wavering. So I now command you, do not drift from this process. Do not treat this message as mere inspiration. Treat it as instruction, as law, as blueprint, as scripture, and listen to it again and again and again. Listen when you wake. Listen when you feel fear. Listen when others doubt you. Listen when nothing is working. Listen when you succeed, and do not grow soft. Listen when your mind drifts, and bring it back. Listen until every word becomes your identity, until every sentence feels like your own thought, until no voice is louder than the one inside you. And when that happens, when the repetition is so deep that you walk differently, speak differently, plan differently, act differently, then wealth will arrive. Not because you are lucky, not because you waited, but because you demanded it, by law, by belief, and by obedience. Let us now declare the final affirmation of this journey. Let it be spoken with fire. Let it be etched into your identity. Let it be the sentence that governs every action from this day forward. Say it with me now. I am a man of wealth. I act in faith. I build with law. I command my world. I was not born to hope. I was born to possess. Again. I am a man of wealth. I act in faith. I build with law. I command my world. I was not born to hope. I was born to possess. Let this be your conclusion and your beginning.